Good morning, this is Breakfast with John Kay and Sally Nugent.
Thank you so much for joining Breakfast this morning, just after 7:30 on Wednesday, and we're getting all the latest information from the earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria in the early hours of Monday morning.
Yeah, because people are continuing their desperate search for survivors of the earthquakes. They've killed, that latest figure we have, nearly 9,000 people. Let's take you live now to the Turkish city of Gaziantep. You can see here from this shot the scale, the size of this city. 2 million people live there. Aid agencies warning that rescue efforts are being hampered despite, as you can see, it looks like good conditions, blue skies. It's actually freezing cold.
I think that football stadium, you can see, the white covers, they are tents, temporary tents that have been put up to house some of the people who've lost their homes. We've seen all those flats that have collapsed just right next to the stadium there in the foreground, but that's providing some temporary accommodation for people. It's weird, isn't it, when you look at these big wide shots, how random it is. Some of the buildings remain intact, and then just to the side of it you'll have a whole street which is completely flattened.
And we know, don't we, that this area is on a huge fault line, very, very well known area that, you know, does suffer from earthquakes. We heard yesterday, didn't we, from a building specialist saying that some of the properties there do have extra fortifications, some don't.
Look at that vehicle still travelling down those roads. They've cleared the highways so that traffic can get through. But you just wonder how you're feeling if you're living in one of those buildings nearby with all the aftershocks. You might be wondering what's coming next. You can see smoke rising from some of the piles of rubble as well.
Let's move now to the city of Diyarbakir. We have the latest scene there, and this is a live rescue that we have been following this morning, on and off since we've been on air, and as you can see, they're using various methods. We have mechanical diggers there. We can see this man here trying to break through the rubble. At times we have seen people using their bare hands to move rubble, and those moments of silence again in other parts of Turkey where we've seen other rescues going on, moments of silence where they just stop and listen.
And despite the blue skies and the sunshine there this morning, we know that there has been freezing weather and storms coming in, as well as heavy rain predicted, and that's why they have to do this work urgently to try to reach people, because every second counts.
Well, aid from the UK, including around 80 search and rescue personnel, 4 search dogs and specialist equipment, arrived in Turkey late last night. It
started to arrive. Justin Johnson is Chief Fire Officer for Lancashire Fire and Rescue, which has deployed 6 firefighters and 2 dogs. Good morning, Justin. It's quite an effort, isn't it, to get everything out there quickly, but it seems to be arriving now.
Morning, yes. It's a mammoth effort. Probably about 3 hours ago they'll have got to their base of operations, and they'll be looking now to get deployed onto scene. I spoke to a couple of them yesterday. I know they're absolutely chomping at the bit to get in and start helping. They've got so much specialist equipment, knowledge and expertise from all over the UK, these 77 people. And
what can they do? What equipment do they have? What knowledge do they have?
Well, you mentioned the dogs. The dogs are brilliant. They're amazing. Those dogs can get onto a rubble pile and they are trained to scent live casualties. So it helps you find the needle in the haystack. It helps you focus on where you need to put your efforts in. And the equipment that they carry, the fire crews that are going there, is specialist breaking in and shoring equipment to make it safe for rescues, sonar equipment in terms of listening. So they can do amazing stuff, they really can.
Here are your dogs boarding the plane, I think, yesterday afternoon and heading out there. It is amazing what these dogs can do, isn't it? I mean, the skills they bring, the expertise, the crucial.
It really does help. When time is vital, it helps you focus in where you need to be. And then you've got the listening devices, and then you can secure the scene. So our teams now, they'll be moving onto scene today. They'll be allocated an area. They'll be working alongside other fire and rescue services and other rescue teams from across the world. And this vital few days is where we'll focus most of our efforts to ensure we can rescue as many people as possible.
It's all about time now, isn't it? It's urgency. And am I right in thinking that when the team is there and working, they're completely independent?
Absolutely, they're entirely self-sufficient.
How do they do that?
Well, the team are ready to go at a moment's notice. They've got grab bags. We know what equipment is going. They have all their vaccinations, everything's all done, all of their passport information, so we can get out there as quickly as possible. And then we take everything we need to be self-sufficient. So they take tents, food, sanitation, water, everything to have all in place. So we're not a burden on the environment that we're going into, which is already under high stress.
Yeah.
So we want to get in there and offer help and make a difference.
How long can they stay out there for? How long have they got food and tents and to last?
Initially, we're programmed in for 2 weeks, but the scene assessments and whether we need to bolster that or change it at all, we'll advise ourselves as we go along.
And here we can see, as John was saying, the images live from Gaziantep. We can see already, you know, a huge reaction to this emergency temporary accommodation that's been put up for people who have lost their homes, lost everything. How do you even begin to start helping these people? I
know, it's truly devastating. We're allocated an area, so in our case at the moment it's Hatay province, and in that province, once we're allocated, we will network into the existing structures of support and make sure that we're coordinated, we're adding value, and we're making a difference as quickly as we can.
But it is remarkable to me to see that, like 48 hours ago, Sally, we were sitting here talking about, we just heard about this earthquake, and that amount of aid is already there, that your guys are already in situ, that the aid on that scale is still arriving, is something that I guess we should all be proud of, this response, this international response.
Absolutely. I'm really proud of my own staff, but also all the 14 fire and rescue services and our relationship with the Foreign and Commonwealth Office to ensure that we get mobilised as quickly as possible. So as soon as something like this happens, we instinctively know to get ready, and then we're waiting for the official request and to get going. So crews were down at Birmingham and flown out just as quickly as we could.
What type of person does it take to be able to do this?
They are special. They are amazing. They've had loads of training. They've also built up experience from around the world at different tragedies, different disasters. And some of these, speaking from my own crews, also supported, say, the wildfires in Greece. So, you know, they build up a level of knowledge and experience, but they are fabulous people.
And so are their families, right? Their families who are here, because it's a lot for them to deal with, knowing that their loved ones, however brave and however used to it they might be, are going off to a place like that to deal with it.
Yeah, and we all get even I get a bit paternal towards them as they go, you know, checking in that they're okay and they've got the welfare support that they need, and that we look after them when they come back as well, because these are really challenging environments to operate in.
Well, do give them our best wishes when you speak to them again. I suppose you'll be in touch with them again today, will you?
Certainly will be. Thank you.
Justin, thank you so much for coming in, and all the very best to your team.
Thank you. It's great seeing the dogs going.
Really is, yeah.
It is 7:41 exactly. Now, when it comes to technology giants, here is a clash of the titans for you. Microsoft versus Google.
That's a big battle, isn't it? Microsoft have announced that their search engine Bing is soon going to be powered by artificial intelligence tool, which is known as ChatGPT. A bit of a mouthful, but we better get used to it.
Yeah, although Google is currently the most popular online search tool, Microsoft believes the new technology could help Bing to take that crown on North America.